After spending close to 5 years locked up in federal prison, I was sent to a halfway house in Utah, where I spent 2 months, and then I was able to go home to my family. On my second day in the halfway house, I met a guy named Chris. He was a gentle giant. He was like 6'8", big guy, quiet. I remember when he came in, he was just like, he had been locked up for 22 years, so he just was uncomfortable. We were sitting in this room trying to learn how to go get a job, and Chris looked over at me and he goes, I got on the bus yesterday and I rode around for 2 hours because I was so scared I didn't know what to do. So we just became close. I remember one time I was at the halfway house walking outside in the back. There was a yard area and they wouldn't let the men and the women out at the same time. And so while I'm walking around, the guys come out because they want to come out. They're like, hey, when are you going to be done? And I said, I'll be done when I'm done. And Chris walked out and he goes, you better leave Miss Portia alone. No disrespecting her. He was just so sweet. When I left the halfway house, Chris and I stayed in touch. And every 6 months we would get together for lunch. And I found out, and I'm going to share a picture at the end of Chris and I, but I found out that Chris had, he'd grown up in Chicago. His mother died when he was in prison. He and his two brothers didn't have a father. They were raised super poor, and he got involved in drugs when he was young and ended up getting a 30-year federal prison sentence. While he was locked up, he worked at Unicor. He said he ate burrito bowls with his friends on the weekends. And when he got home, he went and got a job, and he loved to play softball. One time I got in a car accident on my way to go meet Chris, and I called him and said, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it today. And immediately, he's the kind of guy you want to have around. He's like, where are you? I'm on my way. I'll come help. I said, it's okay. I'm close to home. My husband's on his way. The next time I went to lunch with Chris, I invited him to go to church with my family, and he was so excited. A couple of weeks later, Chris died of a heart attack. Chris spent 22 of his 43 years on this earth locked up. He loved to go to the movies. He was a kind and gentle soul. God bless you, Chris. I hope you give your mama a hug for me.